Gentlemen, hey, gentlemen, congratulations for No Man's Land.
Thank you very much. We've been looking forward to this day for a long time.
Yeah.
One of the great things is that it's a modern Western, and I just adore modern Westerns now these days.
Us too.
They don't make too many of them.
Yeah, they've really made such a revival and in such an interesting fashion that allows to talk about social issues and stuff. We're really inspired by like Taylor Sheridan's work, Wind River, and very very much part of the DNA of what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
I think you absolutely captured that essence with this film, but let's start off with the easy question. Where did the original idea came from?
It kind of stemmed from our childhood growing up in Texas, but traveling a lot to Mexico with our dad, who worked there for a lot of our childhood. So we really got to see a different Mexico than a lot of our friends, and got to see Mexico, period, the way a lot of people in the States don't. That was kind of the original DNA. And then, we love these Westerns. We love road movies. I've always wanted to make kind of like a Huck Finn style Mark Twain travel journey movie.
Hence the Huck Finn.
Yeah, hence Huck Finn in the movie. And we just thought, what a great way to do that with a kind of reverse immigration story.
That is true. But one of the things I was fascinated about this was life on the border, because I lived in San Diego for 10 years, and I had friends who lived in Imperial Beach, like right next to Tijuana. And they always
driven through it a couple times.
Yeah, and they always tell me these stories about, you would just be partying in the backyard and all of a sudden someone's hopping the fence, in the middle of the party. But what is life actually like on those? Because there's one thing to see it in the movies, but what is it actually like?
In some ways, it's exactly as kind of we expected the research to be. And then in some ways, it completely surprised us. I think we even had preconceptions about how specifically Texans were responding to immigrants at the border. And, a lot of times we were wrong. We quickly found out that a lot of Texans leave water out and leave food out and leave blankets for immigrants crossing, knowing just how deadly it is. So I think, we were continually surprised.
Yeah, and I think we found a lot of I think that this movie tries to avoid politics and just tell the human story and just be sympathetic to both sides, because they are both sympathetic. I think people forget that. And I think we were surprised at, and these are some of the honest moments we tried to get in the movie, is, in some of the research we found this nice old white-haired woman who lives in no man's land, and every day she drags out a cooler of water and blankets and Spam and stuff and leaves it out there because she's been robbed a bunch of times, and she'd rather just give it to him and help. And then, but then on the counter to that, there was a guy I think the Mexican guy who's maybe his dog was poisoned by narcos crossing, and whose best friend, he's sure his best friend was murdered, and he exclusively rolls around his ranch, always with a gun on his hip, because he has narcos that come through his backyard sometimes, and his best friend disappeared, and he's sure that it was a narco murder or kidnapping, and that's his reality. And I think you forget about that no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. If you're talking about immigration, you forget about like those people that are really living it, like your friend or like you in San Diego.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the other side of the story is to go into Mexico. Is it that easy to go the opposite direction? Because I've also heard horror stories going in the opposite direction.
At the actual border?
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of San Diego, when I've driven south through it, I can tell you that I don't even think I ever rolled down my window driving south to go into the border. Whereas coming back from Mexico, from the Baja Peninsula, going north, we sat for 3 hours waiting to get in and getting checked, and detectors going under the cars and stuff. So, to be honest, I kind of feel like that speaks for itself. Now, that is one specific area, and again, that's my reality of doing it. For other people, it might be different. I can definitely tell you that if you're in the middle of Mexico and you're American and you don't speak Spanish, you're the one that gets looked at funny because you're in their country. It's not so easy.
This film is a family affair with both of you guys working on this project. So how do you work together as brothers with one directing, one starring, and writing a movie like this?
Yeah,
What's the boss?
Yeah.
I do what he tells me to do.
I'm the older brother, so I
Yeah.
naturally am the leader.
Yeah.
No, it's hard to make a movie from scratch. So I'll tell you that much. But in our case, we had people we can lean on in the family, us and our father, and we were all working on this together, and we all wore a lot of hats. But then there's some things when it's time, for you to be an actor, you just go do that. And, I know during pre-production at some point, Jake, who's the writer of the script, he gave, figuratively and literally gave me the script and was like, okay, you do this now. I'm going to go just be an actor and I trust you. And this is yours now. I'm going to turn off my writer self and just be an actor. And if you have trust between those various parties on a movie, that you can go a lot farther and you can do things that you couldn't do if you didn't have it.
Wow. And where was this ranch location at? Was it in New Mexico? Because I can't imagine you actually filmed in no man's land.
No, we shot 100. Most of the movie takes place in Mexico as this character does this epic journey through the country. So we decided to easier for us to double the Texas border in Mexico than it was to shoot Mexico and Texas. So we shot 100% of this movie in the state of Guanajuato, Mexico, which is a really big state in central Mexico that has a very diverse look to it. It's got the deserts that look like the frontera of the border. It's got the high mountains, the snow-capped peaks, the evergreen trees that make you feel like you're in Colorado. It's got the Pueblo Mágicos, the magic cities of like old traditional Mexican towns, all the things we wanted to achieve in like the look of the movie.
Excellent. And let me wrap it up with just one quick question, Jake.
Yeah.
How good's your fastball?
My fastball? Fast. Fast. So I think honestly it was not that fast, but it was hard to do those scenes because we shot with one camera. It was a very intimate shoot. It was handheld. It was, the cameraman was 3 feet away from me, and it was hard for me to kind of like pitch and make it look good and do it real without just like being really fast and like not really getting the shot, So I kind of felt like I had to slow down and kind of work to the camera a little bit. But I grew up, in Texas playing baseball. There's a reason, I took liberties as the writer and actor in terms of like picking what I knew I was good at and what I care about. There's a reason he's a pitcher, and that's because I grew up playing baseball and I love the sport.
Excellent. Well, hey, gentlemen, thank you very much for speaking with me. I love the great modern Westerns, and I hope you guys do more of these.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
man.
much.
Thank you. Bye now.
See ya.